How's it going, everybody? NerdsRising here, and welcome back to the Nerd Cave. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the top wins of the month of June, and let me tell you guys, there are some very, very fun wins in this video. Now, if you have not seen my original video from May, I strongly recommend that you guys check that out. That was the first time I did this competition, and in that video, basically all the battles were my own. But what I did is I asked you guys after that video to start sending me in your battles, start recording your battles, send me in those crazy one-shots, those savage two-shield flexes, the ridiculous BMs, the battles where you lose lead hard, you lose the swap, and you still come back and win. And I asked you guys to start recording your battles at the very beginning of June, and you guys absolutely delivered. I got, I believe, 9 battle submissions, ranging from Great League all the way up to the single type cup here. And every single one of you guys that sent me in a battle did get featured in this video. So in the future, I think it would be absolutely amazing if you guys can send me even more battles in. I'd love to have to choose from multiple different battles. That way the competitions is going to get even better each time. And I think in future videos as well, we will actually vote on the best wins. I don't think we're going to do it this time, simply just because Callum is doing his Battle of Spice competition right now. So you guys are going to have plenty of spicy battles to vote on here in the next couple days. So we're just going to sit back, enjoy the wins. And by the way, if you're wondering how you can submit your own battles for this competition in the future, I do have a link to the battle submission forms in the description. So make sure you guys start recording. It is July 1st, so make sure you start recording your battles for the month of July. And let's just get right into it here. We're starting out the video here with fellow content creator Ripley320 in the Open Great League. And this is from like the first week of the season as well. So into the first battle here. And by the way, you guys may have seen this. I did actually shoutcast this full set of battles earlier in the season, but I absolutely loved this battle because there is a Tropius lead into the Chestnut, and he brings in the Talonflame, and the opponent meets the Talonflame with a Great League Starmie. So definitely not something you see every day. Does bait and gets the shield, and now will get some chip damage here. And this puts the Starmie in a range where Chestnut should be able to Vine Whip down. And the question is going to be here, what moveset does this Starmie have? I truly had no idea at the time. It's a Psychic one-shots from full health. I had no idea what to expect there. And the opponent has a Unova Stunfisk in the back. And if you guys haven't seen Shadow Charizard in the Great League, this thing is absolutely broken. Gets the shield on the bait there, and yeah, Shadow Charizard is just one of the best sweepers in the entire Great League. This thing just hits so incredibly hard, especially when shields are down. As you're going to see, this neutral Shadow Blast Burn nearly one-shots the G-Fisk, or the U-Fisk, I should say, and now easily can just farm down and going to have some energy loaded here for the Tropius, and the Tropius is on Razor Leaf, and this poor opponent is just going to get fully swept by a Shadow Charizard in game 1, and that's going to be a GG. So you absolutely love to see the Charizard sweep. Honestly, my favorite part of that battle was the Starmie coming in and one-shotting the Chestnut. But yeah, great battle there by Ripley. And next battle we have Quasi-Mandarum, probably butchering the name, but this is a fairly meta team, but we'll have to see what makes this battle impressive. We have G-Fisk into Nidoqueen, and this is a pretty nice lead, but it is a little bit awkward because the Nidoqueen does win CMP and does match the G-Fisk for pace, so doesn't throw right away, goes for the extra, and the opponent takes advantage of that and now brings in an Azu. So does have quite a bit of energy banked on the G-Fisk for later, but the Azu matchup here is kind of awkward, especially when there's a frame drop and that Grass Knot only registers as a great, because as you're going to see here, 2 Grass Knots here is not going to KO the Azu, but 1 Hydro Pump does get the Cresselia below half. So I think should just about make 2 more before the opponent gets to another move, and may potentially force a shield here. And very nice timing there, gets the Grass Knot off just before the opponent makes their Hydro Pump. And now the opponent does commit a shield here. And I don't think that the Cresselia is going to be able to farm down, so just lets it go, and the opponent baits with a Play Rough, pivots into the Altaria and farms down the Azu. They're not fast enough to react, and they have an Abomasnow in the back. So normally this is a really bad matchup for Altaria, but he does have an energy lead here, so gonna make the Sky Attack, and the opponent does commit their final shield. And now I think you just let this go. Yeah, gonna let the Altaria go down, and I believe he does have at least like nearly 2 Rock Slides banked here, and yeah, does have both banked. And I don't think the opponent's gonna be able to throw their energy in time. Yeah, they probably realized there they had to overfarm massively. They don't throw their Weather Ball, and now the opponent's in absolute shambles. and this game is basically over. Can just shield safely, but decides to go for the BM catch. I absolutely love this play. Could have just shielded and Earthquake the opponent, and the opponent there was actually going for the BM Stone Edge. They were running Earth Power and Stone Edge, and doesn't even give the opponent the satisfaction of Stone Edging the G-Fisk. Catches it on the Cresselia, gets the 2-shield flex, and you absolutely love to see some good old-fashioned BMing. One of my favorite things to do, guys. BMing your opponents. It just adds some fun to the game. There's nothing wrong with it, in my opinion. I absolutely love it when opponents BM me as well. So, next battle, I believe this is the last of the Great League battles. We have Harami #1 running a pretty cool backline here. This backline is double weak to flying, and we have the Lantern on the lead as the anti-flyer, and unfortunately gets a really bad lead there. Lantern into Dunsparce, and the opponent meets the Chestnut here with a Whimsicott. So this is looking really, really rough. So far, countered on the swap and hard countered on, or countered on the lead and hard countered on the swap, but as you guys are seeing here, Chestnut with the Vine Whip and Frenzy Plant combo is just no joke. Those Frenzies hit so incredibly hard, and gonna shield it up here, and the opponent does full send the Moonblast there. So at the very least, I think should get another Frenzy Plant off here and get a shield back. And this Whimsicott is fairly low as well, so that is a CMP tie here. Is going to actually commit both shields in this matchup and maybe try to flip switch here. This is going to be very tight. I don't think Chestnut's going to quite make 2 more superpowers here before the opponent makes another Moonblast. I believe they're just about getting to it now. The opponent does shield, but then they try to overfarm, and he makes the superpower. The opponent got greedy there overfarming, and now gonna take switch advantage, and that is gonna align the Buzzwole to the Dunsparce, and there's a Sableye in the back, and actually makes the Frenzy here, but just settles for the superpower. Probably didn't realize he was gonna make the Frenzy there. Gonna get some chip damage onto the Sableye, but honestly, this is totally fine because that chip damage should just about put this Sableye into range where a Thunderbolt will KO later on, and Lantern can very easily tank any one move from Sableye, and they bring back in the Dunsparce, and this opponent is probably kicking themselves right now for letting themselves give up switch advantage, because Buzzwole does not care about Dunsparce, especially when it goes for a Drill Run instead of a Rock Slide, because now, since they Drill Run instead of Rock Slide, can tank one more move very easily and can just massively overfarm and probably nearly come out of here with 2 moves loaded. And yeah, now Dunsparce is going to take a superpower, and then the Sableye is going to have to take a move, and if this game wasn't over already, this chip damage is going to put this in range where one move from Lantern is easily going to take out this Sableye, and that's going to be a GG. Went for the superpower BM as well. You love to see it. And Surf is easily going to KO, and that's going to be a GG. So despite the fact that he lost the lead and hard lost the swap, still manages to get the win, and you absolutely love to see it. So that was the last Great League battle. I believe we are now moving into the Ultra League Summer Cup. And this is another battle that I actually shoutcasted earlier in the season, but this win was absolutely crazy from one of my good friends, RealTrackStar. And in this battle, he is running the XL Tentacruel on the lead with the Blizzard Surprise Nuke, and we'll have to see if he can land one in this video. So, Abomasnow lead here, pretty neutral. This probably is slightly favorable to the Tentacruel here, just because as you're going to see here, XL Tentacruel can easily tank 1 Energy Ball, no problem. And I actually really like his play here. He farms up to a potential nuke, but then just goes for the Scald. Doesn't want to reveal the fact that he has Blizzard, probably recognizing the opponent was thinking he was on Acid Spray there. And he actually gets the Scald debuff as well, so easily tanks this Energy Ball. And since he did not reveal the Blizzard nuke, the opponent is actually running a Venusaur here. And do they respect the Blizzard? No, they do not. It nearly one-shots, farms all the way down. The opponent still has 2 shields, and they have a Swampert in the back. Brings in the Abomasnow, and the opponent there gets fully swept by a Tentacruel with 2 shields still in play. You absolutely love to see it. That is one of my favorite things, guys, is when the opponent no-shields the nuke and loses a battle with 2 shields still in play. So, nicely played there by RealTrackStar. Next battle, we have another Ultra League Summer Cup battle by No Bonfires here. I'm not going to try to pronounce his actual trainer name, but No Bonfire Head is his YouTube handle name. So, in this battle, he is running the Double Dragon backline with the Shadow Alolan Executor, and there's a Tapu Koko on the lead here into his Crustle, so pretty neutral, probably favorable to the Tapu Koko. knows he's going to get outpaced, so just settles for the X Scissor here, and the opponent does actually shield that because the Smackdowns are actually doing quite a bit of damage here, and at this point, the Tapu Koko is basically at 100 energy, so yeah, you kind of have to let that go. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually KO, and they get one extra Volt Switch, which is pretty rough, and now he somehow has to take this thing out with his double dragon backline. So brings in the Shadow Alolan Executor here, and looks like we'll probably one shield here and commit to the full farm down. These Dragon Tails are double resisted, but does get the farm down. And what does the opponent have in the back here to answer this Executor? And it's a Tangrowth, and Tangrowth is very, very bulky, so I'm guessing the opponent is not going to shield this. Draco Meteor one-shots from nearly full health. They've got a Shadow Slowbro in the back, and this game is just over. At this point, he is actually going to call the bait here. Does the opponent bait? Yes, they do. They went for the Surf, and just going to full send the Outrage here. I like this play, knowing that even if they shield it, the Shadow Dragon Tails are going to just shred this thing, and yeah, the opponent there just lets it go. Probably trying to call the Octazooka, and very, very nice win there. You love to see the Draco Meteor land, and that's a good game. So next battle, we're into the Open Ultra League now. We have Calvindazole here with a triple XL team, and I believe he said that he made Veteran earlier in the season with this team as well. So we'll have to see what we have on the lead. We have a Galarian Stunfisk, so this is really, really rough. Brings in the Jellicent, and unfortunately, the opponent meets the Jellicent with a Pidgeot, and this is just looking really, really rough here. If Pidgeot wants to, it very easily can maintain switch advantage, but they do let the first non-debuff Surf go, which is something. And then they Feather Dance here, but Feather Dance, I'm not sure Feather Dance plus a Brave Bird is quite going to KO here. So the opponent's probably going to over-farm here quite a bit before they throw the Brave Bird. We'll have to see, and they are going for the move here, and Calvin's just going to let this go. Even if it's a Brave Bird, he does not care, and they do actually bait again with the Feather Dance. So I think that's not the way you should play this if you're the opponent. I think if you're the opponent there, you should massively over-farm to nearly 100 energy and then Brave Bird. But now the opponents put themselves in an awkward situation because now they Brave Bird, but they're so low that effectively his attack's only one stage debuff now since they Brave Birded, and now they're actually forced to respect a Surf, and he gets to another Surf as well before they even make another move, and he actually just lets it go, so somehow manages to flip switch against a Pidgeot. The opponent played that like an absolute potato, as Jamie Finn would say, and gets some chip damage on the Trevenant as well, and now can align the Skuntank to the Trevenant and a Scrafty to the G-Fisk, and yeah, the opponent has basically just thrown this game like, and I have no idea what they were doing there. And yeah, I think the G-Fisk does have some extra energy, but Scrafty can probably just shield one EQ and then just counter all the way down. We'll have to see. Lets the first one go, very easily tanks it, and probably will just shield the next EQ here. And no, actually not going to shield it. And it is the EQ, and it KOs the Scrafty. Oh my goodness. So I think he had this game in the bag here, but maybe tried to call a Rock Slide bait and gets nuked, and now Skuntank is going to have to sweep up this game. And the G-Fisk does still have some energy here, and going to respect the EQ here, and gets baited with a Rock Slide. So absolutely in shambles here on both sides now. And yeah, I think he just had that game won if he just would have shielded up the Scrafty. But now is in a very tricky end game here because that Scrafty did bank a rock, or the Stunfisk did bank a Rock Slide before it switched out, and now has to come out of this matchup with a Crunch loaded. And if he takes out the Trevenant here, he's not going to have the move, but very nicely undercharges it. Perfect undercharge there, makes the Crunch, and still is going to win this game. So that battle had a roller coaster of emotions there. Somehow takes switch advantage from the Pidgeot and then throws it away there with the Scrafty, but still manages to get the win in the end. So that is a very good sign of a good player there, guys. Everybody makes mistakes, so he had some very nice plays in the mid game there to flip that matchup, and then made a very potato decision by letting the Scrafty go down, but then recovers with a perfect undercharge and still gets the win. So very nicely played there by Calvin. Into the next battle, we have one of my favorite trainers, Dr. Love, with another triple XL team, and this is going to be a fun one, guys. So we have a Hundo Galv on the lead into Swampert. Not the best lead for Galv, but the Galv is running Energy Ball, and this definitely will threaten a one-shot on the Swampert. So can let the Hydro go. In the Ultra League, Galv can tank one, and he is going to just go straight for the energy ball, hoping that they don't respect it, and they do unfortunately respect it with the shield. So now the mud shots actually are adding up here. I'm not sure you make 2 energy balls going straight for it, so probably is going to have to get the lunge bait, and actually going to play out the 2 shield, it looks like. Wants to make a play for switch advantage here, and yeah, is going to have to bait here. I think even if he could actually get to 2 energy balls, I think the mud shots would KO, so needed that lunge debuff, and because of the lunge debuff, is able to make the energy ball, and Galv on like 2 HP is going to take the lead here, and that proves to be very, very important because there's a Walrein in back, so if he doesn't get switched there, then Walrein would be aligned to the Drifblim, and now can very comfortably align this Jellicent to the Walrein, and I believe Jelly here will outpace this Walrein to 2 Shadow Balls before they make 2 EQs. It's going to be very close, but the real question here is going to be, can this second Shadow Ball here KO this Walrein? I'm not sure it's quite going to KO. It's going to be very, very close, and the Walrein does survive. They make the Earthquake, but he switches into the Drifblim. Did he catch the EQ? Yes, he did. That is double resisted and gets the Hex through as he catches as well. And because of that, is going to outpace this Charizard to the Icy Wind here. And now I believe this Drifblim should just about tank a Blast Burn. We'll have to see. It's going to be very close. Blast Burn does hit very hard, and the Drifblim does tank it and makes the Icy Wind. And after this second debuff, I don't think that the Charizard's going to be able to farm down here. And yeah, they're going to be forced to throw some energy here. And now the Walrein's at 1 HP and energy dry. Charizard is going to throw this Claw, but even if they make the Blast Burn, they're double debuffed. Blast Burn's not going to KO this Jellicent, and that catch proves to be the game-winning catch in this battle. Farms down the Walrein. The opponent sees that it's over and top lefts, and that's a GG. So very well played, as always, by Dr. Love. And into the next battle, we have a new content creator in the world of Pokemon Go, Win Regalia 2, and this trainer sent me in a very, very fun battle. So a massive shout out to him. We're getting into the battle here. We have a perfect IV Shadow Alolan Sandslash into a Walrein. So this is fairly neutral. The Walrein obviously can threaten the one-shot with the Earthquake, but the opponent, again, is playing like an absolute potato. They go straight for an Icicle Spear. They don't even build up to the Earthquake, and Win Regalia here knows his counts, very easily lets that go, and these drill runs plus the Shadow Claws do actually add up quite a bit on the Walrein here, and is going to potentially force a shield from the opponent here, and they do shield. And now I believe this time the opponent did build up to the Earthquake, and they do full send it, and he does shield it. So the opponent there really should be building up to the Earthquake every single time, and again, the opponent just goes straight for an Icicle Spear, probably banking on the fact that he's not counting, but he's counting, and now can easily just go for the Ice Punch here. Ice Punch should be more than enough to KO with this health range, and takes the lead here and has even shields, and the opponent answers the Alolan Sandslash with a Togekiss. So it appears that the opponent's only answer to this A-Slash was the Walrein, and they played the matchup so badly that they basically just lost the game for themselves. They do shield that Ice Punch. Sandslash makes another Ice Punch and even makes a third Ice Punch. Alolan Sandslash is fully sweeping this backline, and I'm expecting that whatever's in back is probably also going to be weak to it, and it's a Venusaur, and he brings in the Swampert and is actually going to shield the Frenzy as well, just to land the Earthquake BM on the Grass type. And Earthquake is still going to do quite a bit of damage, and I don't even think that this Venusaur is going to be able to farm down. I think they're going to have to throw a Frenzy, yep, otherwise he would have made the Hydro, and yeah, the opponent there is just an absolute shambles, and this game is just so over. Can just bring in the Cresselia, probably just farm all the way down with Psycho Cut here, and that's going to be a GG. So Win Regalia basically just walked all over this opponent the entire battle, but what you guys are going to see is he is not done walking over his opponent. The opponent is at like 1 HP. He stops attacking there, lets the opponent get to the Frenzy play, and then catches it onto the 1 HP Sandslash just to rub it in a little bit more, and then farms down the Venusaur. You love to see it. Absolutely savage BMing. I'm a huge fan of an occasional savage BM. So very nicely done there. And I believe we are into the last 2 battles, guys. This next battle is going to be in the Single Type Cup by ZakkiG here, and ZakkiG is running Shadow Shiny Arbok, which in my opinion is one of the coolest Shadow Shinies in the game, or Shiny Shadows, excuse me, in the game, and also has the Shiny Hexorus and Firefang Mightyena on the back as well. So very cool team, and we'll have to see what ZakkiG can do with this team. So we have a Shiny type Flosion on the lead running Shadow Claw, and these Shadow Dragon Tails are just doing absolutely tons of damage, and the opponent brings in a Clefable, and this is really, really scary, guys, because when you see a Charmer safe switch in, oftentimes that means there's another Charmer in the back, and unfortunately, this Shadow Arbok is single moved with Acid Spray, and the opponent actually lets that go, and it's a simultaneous KO here, so this is looking really rough still. If this is double charm, I'm absolutely seeing no win con whatsoever, but they do bring back in their Typhlosion here at the very least, and this might allow the Haxorus to farm this thing down. So if it is another Charmer in the back, may actually be able to land a Surf here, because to be honest, guys, I didn't even know that Haxorus could learn Surf before this battle, and the opponent doesn't either. They call the Breaking Swipe, Surf lands, and then Mighty Enough Fire Fangs down the Shadow Granbull, and somehow a Dragon type and a Dark type sweep a double charm team with 2 shields still in play. All the opponent had to do there was shield up, and their Granbull would have just slapped down the back line there, but somehow gets the win. And into the last battle, guys, we have yours truly running my team that I built for Callan Montos Battle of Spice competition. Now, this is not the battle I sent over to him. The win that I sent over to him is even better than this one, but in like 15 battles, I only won 2 of the battles. So I decided to show you guys the other win. You will be seeing my other win over on Callan's channel very soon, but this team is just absolutely horrible. The Shadow Kadabra in the back has the 3rd highest attack stat in the entire Great League, only being outdone by Attack Deoxys, obviously, and Shadow Sharpedo. So what you guys are going to see is this thing is just incredibly, incredibly glassy. So we had the Shadow Wailord on the lead into a Shadow Muck, and this is actually really rough for the Wailord because they do have Thunder Punch. So I bring in the Kadabra, hoping they switch out, and look at those poison jabs, guys. The Muck could have just stayed in and fully poison jab me down, but they bring in a Registeel instead, and Registeel has Lock-On, and this is the perfect scenario for the Shadow Kadabra because the Lock-Ons are doing absolutely nothing, and we get a ton of damage off onto the Regi, and we're gonna grab both shields. Kadabra putting in so much work there, getting both shields, getting the Regi into the red health, and the opponent does have a lot of energy here, but at this point, I'm probably going to just bring in the Wailord and commit to the farm down here. I will shield up one time, knowing that a Zap Cannon would definitely be one-shotting me. And they do pivot back out of that into the Muck, but Shadow Wailord can actually tank one move here. We take the Thunder Punch, and now we're putting it all on the Shadow Grumpig with the shield advantage. And Shadow Grumpig has a lot of work to do, guys. Shadow Grumpig here has to 1v3 this team. We do get the farm down. What does the opponent have in the back? Let's see. And they're waiting out their switch clock here, and they bring back in the Regi. I overfarm as much as I possibly can. I'm going to go for the Psychic just in case they try to catch. I recognize that Psychic would be enough to KO here, and they have a Clefable in the back. Grumpig is going to make another Psychic here. How much does a Shadow Grumpig do on a Clefable? It does huge damage, and now the opponent is going to be forced to throw here into the Wailord, or we would have Water Gunned them down, and now one more extra Sensory is going to KO this Clefable. And somehow this absolutely terrible team manages to get the win. So that was the last battle of the video, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who watched. Thank you again to everyone who sent in battles. I really would love it, guys, if you start submitting your battles for July right now. The links are in the description to this video, but start sending me in your battles. I'd love to have like 20 to 30 battles to choose from. That way, this competition just gets even better each time with the quality of the battles that are on show. So again, thank you to everyone who is watching. If you are new to the channel, if you are not subscribed, consider hitting that subscribe button, because the more subscribers we can get, the more Pokemon my wife will let me play.